Βρισκόμαστε στο Δημαρχείο του Τορόντο. Σε λίγα λεπτά θα παρευρεθεί και η Premier του Οντέριο για να πει και αυτή δύο λόγια για το Freedom of the Press. Και ξεκινάμε με πάρα πολλούς επισκέπτες, Έλληνες και άλλους από όλες τις εθνικότητες. Ο κύριος Σάρας έχει κάνει μια υπέροχη δουλειά και προσπαθεί με κάθε τρόπο να φέρει όλους τους δημοσιογράφους και όλες τις εθνικότητες μπροστά στην επικαιρότητα.
Καλωσορίζω όλους τους τηλεθεατές και επίσης όλους τους reporter οι οποίοι είναι εδώ σήμερα. Σήμερα γιορτάζουμε World Press Day και αυτό είναι για τους reporter και για τους ανθρώπους οι οποίοι προσπαθούν να φέρουν την αλήθεια μπροστά. Υπάρχουν το G20 και υπάρχουν χώρες όπως την Τουρκία και η Σαουδική Αραβία που έχουν φυλακισμένους ανθρώπους οι οποίοι γράφουν reporters και θέλουν να πούνε την αλήθεια, και αυτό είναι κάτι το οποίο πρέπει να το κακοφωνήσουμε παντού. Εύχομαι σε όλους καλή μέρα. Πρώην βουλευτής Καρίγανης που πρόκειται να κατεβώ για δημοτικό σύμβουλο στην πολιτεία Τορόντο. Να είστε καλά και ας μην ξεχνάμε ότι αυτοί οι ανθρώποι, οι δημοσιογράφοι που γράφουν, αυτοί οι άνθρωποι οι οποίοι μιλάνε, πάντοτε μιλάνε για δημοκρατία, μιλάνε για ανθρώπινα δικαιώματα και για ελευθερία του θρησκεύματος. Σας ευχαριστώ, να είστε καλά και πάντοτε μαζί σας.
2014 Freedom of Information Week in the city of Toronto. And Tom, it's my pleasure to present it to an old friend and distinguished member of the media, Tom Saris.
Your organizations help people through that difficult period. It's a transition. It's a transition, obviously, coming to a new country by showing your readers and viewers that they still belong to a community, that they matter to that community, and that their community matters to this province. In Ontario, we are blessed with so many vibrant communities. Each one is a proud source of strength, and each one makes us what we want to be, and that is a strong one, Ontario. I think that our province is and can be a beacon of equality and fairness, where every voice and every perspective counts. And I think that we can and are a model for the world. But as I said before about freedom of the press, we cannot take that for granted. There are still those who seek to divide us, and we have to be very open about that. That's what some were trying to do last month in Brampton. As some of you know, a few weeks ago, there were hateful flyers that were distributed in Brampton that insulted the contributions of the Sikh community. It was a sad reminder that there are still those who will try to use our differences to divide us. It's just below the surface sometimes, and we have to be very, very careful. You know, in the whole discussion about the Quebec Charter, I was in a number of conversations where people were saying, you know, well, that's happening in Quebec. It's not happening here in Ontario. And somehow that's something that maybe that's a reality in Quebec, that people divide themselves from each other. But we don't do that here in Ontario. Well, I'm sorry to say that there are many people here who still see that dividing is more what they want to do than unifying. And I think that that's exactly why what you do is so important, and that we must do together what's important, which is to bring people together. So we fought back against those flyers that were being distributed. We stood together. We showed that you can't use diversity divide to divide or weaken Ontarians, because it is, in fact, you know, it's easy to say that it's our diversity that unites us and strengthens us. I really believe that. I really believe that it is part of what defines us as Ontarians, as Canadians, that we are different. We are all different. We bring different backgrounds and cultures, and so that's what makes us interesting and therefore makes us strong. So I moved quickly to condemn the flyers, and I also our party led the legislature to pass a motion that condemned the flyers and supported the Sikh community. And I felt it was an important message as that was unfolding, that the entire province pay attention to the fact that it was happening. This kind of disrespect for a particular community, it's not only insulting and disrespectful, but it distracts us from our collective efforts to move our province forward. That's the work that you do every day, and I want to thank you all for making a difference in people's lives and for making our province stronger. In this sense, we're all working for the same things, whether we're in government or whether we're in the press. I believe that in terms of the work that Sue and I do, and all of my elected colleagues here, there's only one good reason to be involved in politics in the first place, and that is to help people. It's to advance the notion that government can be a force for good, that it can be a positive, progressive force for good in people's lives. And as was said by Councillor Stintz, we can't do this without the role that you play in informing and engaging the people of the province. So, I'm not going to make a stump speech here, even though we are about to head into an election, but I am going to say that the budget that we brought forward last Thursday was about helping people in their lives. It was about putting in place supports for people that would make their lives better and easier. Whether it's the retirement pension plan, or investment in transit, or the creation of jobs and the support for people who are already doing jobs, making sure that our personal support workers and our early childhood educators have the working conditions that they need. So that was the budget that we put forward, and we're going to be talking about that a lot over the next 36 days, 37 days. But I want to just reinforce for you that I believe that that is what government exists to do, that we need to work in partnership. The press and the people who tell the stories about community and about what's going on in the political realm, in the public realm, we need to be working in partnership. That doesn't mean that we always agree with each other. It doesn't mean that we don't get asked tough questions. It doesn't mean that we don't have moments where we feel like we're working at cross purposes. But it's working through those moments, and it's having the freedom of living in a democratic system where we're allowed to engage on those things, where we don't have to agree with each other in some mindless, mind-numbing way. That's the beauty of living in this democratic society. So you are advancing that. We want to work with you. We want to make sure that the plan that we bring forward, and Jimmy gave us a good notice about what that partnership can mean. It means sharing information and keeping you engaged, and it also means supporting you and supporting each other in terms of more practical support. So I want to thank you. We need to give our children the chance to continue to build this wonderful province and country, and part of that is making sure that those children have every single opportunity possible. That means having strong communities. That means making sure that our businesses, and you are supported by so many of our businesses, that our businesses can flourish, that they have the environment in which they can be prosperous. So all of that is our shared mission. So thank you very, very much for the work that you do, and I look forward to continuing to work with you to strengthen our democratic system, our province, and our country. Thank you very much.
Jim is a former Member of Parliament for Scarborough Agincourt, and he is currently candidate for 39 municipal election. Welcome, Jim.
Well, I want to thank you for inviting me to speak. I wish I could bring greetings on behalf of the Liberal Party. I guess I can. But I'm not longer, what do they call it, a samurai. Now I'm a Ronin. For those of you that don't understand what that means, maybe Norm can give us a little bit of history lesson. There's a good movie made 47 Ronin. But I'm not going to commit harakiri at the end as they did. Premier, colleagues, I use that term still, just newly out of politics and all levels of government, it's a pleasure to be here with you. Tom and I known each other for many, many years. I was 14 at the time. Tom was a younger man. Tom was also a very good-looking man, and his wife made sure that our family kept a lid on him. Seen Tom grow younger over the years, and his wife even more beautiful over the years. The man has a heart problem, but I don't know where he finds the energy. He's a little slouched. I'm not going to tell how old you are, Tom. No. You're not a day over 29, your wife's 28. And yes, it is an ethnic press national secret. And he's an energizing bunny with batteries in that still goes. The ethnic press, like my colleague said, it is not Canada's other voices. It is Canada's voices. Because it doesn't matter what we do, it doesn't matter what we state. Our mothers, and I'm talking about those of us that are first-generation immigrants, and mums and dads can hardly speak any English. My mum, she's the only left parent that I have. Every time she opens the Greek TV, always watches. And if I say something wrong or I say something right, I get one phone call. Love ya? Or the other call is. So for that, I thank you. I thank you for being there for us. But there's more things that we have to do. For many, many years, I keep saying that the other voices need to be at the table when it comes to giving advertising. Madam Premier, I have to tell you, government after government has been a dismal failure when it comes to giving ads to the ethnic press. They'll spend thousands of dollars, even millions of dollars, mainstream press. When it comes to you, they'll give you $250 and they turn around and say, I want an ad or I want an editorial. Prime example, Jason Kenney. They spent, when C-10 was coming down the pipelines about the new immigration rules, something like about $250,000 to the ethnic press. They spend millions of dollars to the press. And when I asked them in the committee, give us the figures, I was given false information. And when I challenged them, they turned around and gave us the right information. I cannot forget, they gave $250 to an African newspaper. And they demanded a full page, and they demanded an editorial saying how good they were. If that's the way government officials treat the ethnic press, it's a real shame. They deserve nothing else but the same treatment as the rest of the media. They deserve nothing else than respect. And that's not only during election. That is every single year, every event. Now I know, Premier, you've always been at their events, or most of them, and for that I thank you. I do hope that if you're returned, or when you're returned, I can read the press, or I can read the tea leaves, that you will consider not them as the other voices, but as the voices. Because if you don't consider them as the voices, then my mother will certainly think about voting for you. My wife will certainly think about putting a sign on her lawn. And if my wife doesn't put a sign on her lawn, the whole neighborhood knows that my wife is not voting Liberal. She's got her own mind. And my wife is a very independent lady. And she has clearly told me, do not support people that will not support you. Thank you for having me, folks. Tom, I have no scroll to give you, but I have you to give you my love and my undivided attention and my undivided support over the years, and I will continue doing so. Thanks for having me. God bless everybody.
I want to thank Tom and the executive, as the founding executive director of this organization. I remember that when we started this, we're only 4, and we met in the smallest room for our annual meeting at Queen's Park, and I I want to thank especially Tom, because he's been the cardinal force for bringing this organization to the level that it is today. And thank you.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. We have 2 food stations. Please go eat, be merry. We've got great entertainment. Shameless self-promotion. My band will be playing in a little bit, so go eat and stick around, okay? Okay, bon appetit.
Thank you all for coming tonight. You are great people. I love you.
Είμαστε εδώ απόψε να γιορτάσουμε την ελευθερία του τύπου. Ένα γεγονός το οποίο έχει οργανωθεί από το Εθνικό National Ethnic Press and Media Council of Canada, το οποίο είναι το Εθνικό Συμβούλιο των Media, των Μέσων Ενημέρωσης του Καναδά, στο οποίο προείσταται ο δικός μας, ο Έλληνας, ο Θωμάς Σάρας. Ο Θωμάς κάνει καταπληκτική δουλειά, δεν είναι η πρώτη φορά που είχα την ευκαιρία να έρθω στην εκδήλωση αυτή, και όντως συγκεντρώνει όχι μόνο πολύ κόσμο, αλλά συγκεντρώνει την καλή, θα έλεγα, κοινωνία της πόλης του Τορόντο, όλους τους πολιτικούς, από όλα τα πολιτικά φυσικά κόμματα. Και απόψε είχαμε την ευκαιρία να δούμε τον απερχόμενο από την πολιτική Έλληνα βουλευτή, τον δικό μας Δημήτρη Καρίγανη, τον Τζίμι τον Καρίγανη. Εκεί είχαμε την ευκαιρία να δούμε και την Πρωθυπουργό, που ήταν κυρία ο μιλητής της επαρχίας του Οντέριο, η οποία φυσικά είναι σε προεκλογική εκστρατεία, αφού στις 12 Ιουνίου έχουμε εκλογές στο Οντέριο. Λοιπόν, εδώ έχω πολύ κοντά το πολύ καλό μου φίλο, το Θωμά Σάρα, ο οποίος μου έκανε μεγάλη έκπληξη απόψε, ο οποίος με τίμησε και εμένα, όπως μια ντουζίνα άλλους, και βλέπετε εδώ την πλακέτα που μου χάρισε. Σε ευχαριστώ πάρα πολύ, Θωμά. Ήταν ικανοποιητικό εκ μέρους μου να με αναγνωρίσεις εσύ ιδιαίτερα, γιατί ξέρεις εσύ τον αγώνα που κάνουμε για τον ελληνισμό στο Τορόντο, στο Οντέριο, στον Καναδά γενικά. Θέλεις να πεις κάτι?
Γιώργο μου, είναι τιμή για μένα και για τον οργανισμό αυτό, διότι πάντα βρίσκεσαι δίπλα μας και πέρα από οτιδήποτε άλλο, είσαι ο μόνος εκπρόσωπος της ελληνικής κοινότητας, ο οποίος κάθε φορά θα βρεθείς μαζί με τα ethnic media και θα κάνεις οτιδήποτε είναι δυνατόν για να προωθήσεις τους σκοπούς και τις ιδέες. Νομίζω ότι αυτό που κάναμε ήταν το λιγότερο. Ελπίζω ότι σύντομα θα μπορέσουμε να σε αναγνωρίσουμε με ένα ειδικό βραβείο. Θα το κάνουμε αυτό λίγο αργότερα. Σε ευχαριστώ πολύ και πάντα σου εύχομαι δυνατός και στην πρώτη γραμμή όπως ήσουν και όπως παραμένεις.
Καλέ μου φίλε Θωμά Σάρα, εγώ σε ευχαριστώ για την αναγνώριση. Ξέρεις πολύ καλά ότι όπως και εσύ με το δικό σου τρόπο προσπίζουμε τα δικαιώματα της δημοκρατίας, the freedom of the press, την ελευθερία του τύπου, διότι πραγματικά αυτή είναι η σωστή δημοκρατία. Και κάθε τι που συμβαίνει να προωθήσει τα δικαιώματα του καθενός, να μπορεί να μιλήσει ελεύθερα και να προωθήσει τις δικές του ιδέες, είναι κάτι που και εγώ και εσύ το υποστηρίζουμε χωρίς κανένα περιορισμό, και δεν είναι για μας αβαρία να το κάνουμε αυτό, και μερικές φορές μπορούμε να δυσκατανοηθούμε. Το όσον αφορά για την πρώτη γραμμή, εσύ είσαι, Θωμά μου, στην πρώτη γραμμή, εσύ είσαι και είμαστε περήφανοι για σένα που διευθύνεις ένα τόσο μεγάλο και καλό οργανισμό. Και δεν είναι μόνο η αναγνώριση των Ελλήνων, που θα ήταν φυσιολογική βέβαια, είναι αναγνώριση ότι εκπροσωπείς 150-160 διαφορετικές εθνότητες.
700 έντυπα.
700 έντυπα.
173.
Έριξα λιγάκι, είπα 150-173. Συγγνώμη για αυτό. Πάντα επιτυχίες, καλές επιτυχίες. Να στέκεσαι στο πλευρό όλων των εθνικοτήτων, οι οποίοι απαρτίζουν το μοσαϊκό του Καναδά και τους χρειαζόμαστε όλους. Και ό,τι καλύτερο για σένα στο μέλλον, και αποβλέπω στην μελλοντική μας συνεργασία και προκοπή. Όλων και του ελληνισμού φυσικά.
Ευχαριστώ πάρα πολύ και εγώ αποβλέπω στην δική σου συνεργασία, την έχουμε ανάγκη. Είμαστε περήφανοι για σένα.
Ευχαριστώ.
Thank you.
Are there Greek people in the audience? Any Greeks in the audience? I wish I was Greek sometimes. Okay, Miss Maria is going to take this away.
Alright, give thanks and praise to the Lord. So this